everybody. This is Boxing Bros UK. I am the boss, Chris. This is my co-host, Andrew, the Boxing Brain. And the topic of the day is Lee Wood versus the Apache. No, the Apache Cacace or Cacace the Apache.
The Apache Cacace. Would it nice before we begin to see an entertaining fight again? And sorry, our American viewers, a European fight again, putting the Americans to shame. Oh, yeah. Right.
So, I'm just getting my notes up.
Yeah.
It was.
Before I got asked my questions, Chris, give us your breakdown of the fight, because I know you've sort of broke it down a bit, haven't you?
Yeah. We've got 1 second. There we go. So, bollocks to it. I think I remember most of it. So,
go for it.
Straight away, round one, Lee Woods. Before this fight even started, when he took this fight, I just want to say this is a cherry pick for Cacace, really, because he was a world champion. He had an IBF belt. He vacated it and chose to fight a guy who hasn't had a fight for 2 years. I know he's only had a fight a year ago, but he's still more active. And I guarantee, he would probably in camp a bit sooner. Lee Wood has not been probably training anyway. So he was not as sharp, and you could tell he was off. His timing was off. He was getting tagged. He was overextended.
We wanted that Warrington fight, Chris, didn't he? Instead, he vacated it for that Warrington fight because he wanted legacy. I don't know. I guess he wanted the
world champion. But yeah,
I know.
His front foot
I've got a question about that later. So.
And he was just missing with the jab, leaning over a bit, and then Cacace was taking a step back and coming back with a counter, and he was getting his jab going. His guard wasn't tight. He was holding his guard up, and Cacace was just pinging him through it. And then I think he got going in the middle rounds. I think he won a couple, but then when he'd win a round, Cacace just turned up the gears, went through the gears, turned up the tempo, and then really hurt him in the next round. And Cacace was having fun in there. He was enjoying himself, just getting that jab going, missing, sliding. Then when Lee Wood was fighting off Hart and Will, he was really going to the well because his timing was off. He weren't match fit, and Cacace was having fun, and you could really, really tell that. And then
smiling, wasn't he? Yeah, smiling in there.
He was smiling, and even when he was getting hit, he was like, "Yeah, I've smashed you this round anyway." And he was in control of the fight, and Lee Wood was just fighting when he could.
It's a big super feather. Cacace's a massive super featherweight, mate.
Huge.
But I've got questions around this size as well.
And then round 9, obviously, Lee Wood. What a warrior! He tried to swing it out, and I don't always agree with Ben Davison's towel decisions, but I do agree with this one because he ran away when he was getting hurt. He ran,
turned his back.
Yeah, he turned his back. If you turn a back on a fighter and run away like that, it's over.
Game over.
Game over. Towel was right to go in because he was getting hurt really, really bad, and Cacace was just enjoying himself. And I feel. One thing I want to say before we get into the questions, who the fuck told Lee Wood to take this fight? If you've had 2 years off, you're 36 years old, he needed a warm-up fight. He needed a gimme fight, confidence builder, before he goes in to fight a fucking beast like Cacace.
Well, hold that thought, because that's my second question, right? Or around that. Yeah, before.
Go on, carry on.
Yeah, I know. I know because I feel the same as you. It's frustrating with matchmaking sometimes.
Terrible.
The first place I got to start, though, I wanted to start here. Steve Gray had Lee Wood 5-3 up. Can you believe that? Did you see this?
No.
Yeah. Because I know
did he work
there's been video. Cacace was interviewed afterwards. Frank Warren, I think, was I think. Don't quote me on this. I saw a few shorts around it. Frank Warren was up, saying he's going to do whatever to Steve Gray or talk to him or whatever. I'm sure it was Steve Gray, and Wood 5. That just goes to show, doesn't it? Some of the biasness that's going on. This fight wasn't even close. Wood was competitive to a degree.
I gave Wood 2 rounds. Two.
What do you make of that? That's sorry, I didn't frame that into a question. What do you make of that? Him having him 5-3 up before the stoppage.
Just a joke. Like, he fuck knows. Where was it? Where was the fight? Was it in Nottingham?
Nottingham. It was
of
not.
course.
I mean, massive home support. A good win for Cacace. Massive home support for Lee Wood. Influenced by the crowd, do you think?
No, he's just shit. He does this shit all the fucking time, mate. That's why. Get his eyes out of a fucking raffle. Go to Specsavers, mate. That's
Got his eyes out of a raffle.
Jeez.
Oh, I love it. So before we get too triggered by that, so Mo, you touched on this towards the end of your opening monologue. Bearing in mind, and I'll repeat a bit what you said, bearing in mind Wood was coming off almost 2 years, I think it was, not far off 2 years. Coming up in weight as well. First up against a naturally big super feather. Probably one of the bigger, if not the biggest in that division at super feather. What on earth has been going on since he's gone over to Matchroom? Why has he been so inactive? He's 36. What is going on there, Chris? Why has he been so inactive? And why does he then have a first fight back up away against Cacace, banging form coming off the Cordina and Warrington wins? Can you help us out, anyone watching, Chris?
I've been racking before. I remember I messaged you, didn't I? I said I fucking knew it's too early for him to be. He shouldn't be taking his fight. He's been too inactive. One fight a year, okay.
And getting older.
And he's 36. Because right,
yeah.
These are the points, yeah, for this. Right, who's his manager? It's Eddie Hearn, isn't it? Or he's his promoter. I don't know who his manager is. Yeah, Eddie Hearn. Yeah. He doesn't give a shit. He just wants the money. They're both, you know.
Cashed him out, do you think?
They cashed him out. And then, but the person I'm most annoyed at, yeah, and that's why he threw the towel in, because he must have felt guilty. Ben Davison, he must have known he wasn't ready. Of course, he's a fucking trainer. Like, I rate Ben Davison as a trainer, but sometimes I think I don't know.
He's having a nightmare at the moment, isn't he?
No, but I
feel
feel like
had the greatest of years so far.
I feel like he's just earning his money. Oh, if I get it, I'll just throw the towel in. It's like AJ, yeah, AJ Dubois. We all thought he was going to win. It's like, and then as a trainer, did he think he was ready to fight that guy after 2 years out? No warm up fight. What, you know? You just can't. You can't get experience of going under the lights and fighting and all that pressure. Your first fight in 2 years, and you're fighting in your home fans in your home fucking town. They should have given him a dinner to knock over in front of his fans.
I don't understand. I haven't read enough into it. There's probably a bit like, I know Keith Thurman, to use an example. Keith Thurman was inactive because a lot of fights just were falling. Apparently, he was saying the fights were falling through at the last minute. He was in camp multiple times. I don't know if it was one of them, Chris, reading between the lines. Maybe just stuff just didn't get made. But nearly 2 years coming off a bit of momentum that he had, you know, avenging some losses, I think, against Lara, if I remember rightly. And 2 years at 34 when he's in the right, when he needs to maintain his activity, and he's not fought for. I couldn't work it out, Chris.
My only conclusion is he hasn't fought for 2 years, so he's fucking broke, and he wasn't. And all the fights that he was getting offered weren't enough money. And Eddie Hearn's gone, well, we can sell out Nottingham Stadium. You're the A-side. It's your hometown fans. They're all going to be there for you. I'll get you the better cut because he's not a world champion. He'll have to vacate his belt to fight you. And Cacace's like, yeah, I'll fight him. He's not been in the ring for 2 years, and I'll fight him any day, any time. Yes.
Yeah.
Easy. Slim pickings, mate. Slim pickings.
So staying with Wood, before we go into Cacace, we might as well sort of stay with Wood off of that. And I'm going to preface this by saying and unless maybe he does the Cordina fight, obviously Cacace knocked out Cordina, didn't he? I mean, the only other one Raymond Ford, someone like. I personally think he should retire now, Lee Wood. But at 36, I think the last 2 years have been a disaster. My question for you is, though, what does he do now? If you was his manager, what would you do? What would you be advising him?
Sack Ben Davidson. Sack him.
Whoa! Harsh.
if it wasn't his choice, like if he was coerced and into taking this fight, if he was desperate for money and that's why he took the fight, don't sack anyone. But if they telling him you can win this fight, like don't take a warm up, don't do that. They need sacking, yeah. And I don't think he should retire because he's a lot better fighter than that, and he just wasn't, and he just was brought back too soon. Like not only is he brought back after 2 years with nothing, Nottingham Stadium in front of his home crowd, all that pressure. You don't need that shit when you've had a 2-year layoff. You need to shake off the cobwebs. I'm not saying he'll be a world champion again, but let him have a confidence fight, maybe one, maybe two, and then rematch Warrington. Conlon wanted to make a comeback. All these kind of fights. Maybe have another go at Cacace and try and do better. He might lose, but he's a lot much of a better fighter than that. And that whole fight, his timing was off. Everything was off. His judge of distance. He was running on sheer heart and gut and determination.
Which he doesn't lack, does he? He doesn't lack heart. And I suppose that I understand what you're saying. I guess at his age, though, I mean, if he has a couple of warm-up fights, you know, it's going to be 37, 38. By the time he gets in a big fight again, he's ready. He's pushing 40. I don't know. It's just it's going to be. He's probably still a couple of big domestic dust up because he's popular. He sells tickets. Yeah, and that was just my last question on Lee Wood. Look, I mean, we've spoke a lot in the last couple of weeks, Chris, about fighters lacking heart, particularly across the pond with our older brothers, the Americans.
Yeah.
Listen, Lee Wood doesn't lack any heart or guts, does he? Even in their 2-year layoff against Cacace, who's in banging form later in life, later in his career. And he still tried. He still tried in there and gave a good account of himself. Like, no lack of effort, Chris, is there?
No. You see, this is the difference, yeah? So, Ryan Garcia, he got hurt, he shit himself, and he did not want any parts of nothing, and he just wanted to survive and not get knocked out. Lee Wood got hurt, and he was running around the ring. He was trying everything he could to survive so he could land his own shots back. And he did sometimes. There was no surrender. Let's just try and win. There was none of that. And from us like Brits and like Europeans, we don't have that in us most times. We fight to the end.
I think stupid, underdog. We got that underdog sort of spirit over here. We ain't got all this American dream nonsense. Do you know what I mean? The other thing, just quickly before we move on to our next question with Cacace, I thought it was a good stoppage, and I think you'll probably agree.
Yeah.
The problem was in those later rounds, when he was trying to just fighting on instinct and heart, there was nothing on his shots, Chris. Absolutely nothing on them. There was nothing on them. And Cacace just fucking went full triple fucking G and was just like, bang, walking right through him. So that the towel came in pretty much the right time because he weren't putting a dent in Cacace, Chris, was he?
No. As soon as he turned his back and started running away, that was it. Done.
Yeah.
For me.
So going a bit of a shame for Wood, but yeah, let us know what you think. I think he should easy for me to say he should retire, but I think he might retire now. Chris thinks he should and will stay on, but let us know in the comments, you know, who do you agree with?
Because the only reason why he would have took this fight is because he's broke. That's the only explanation. So he's going to need more money.
What else can it be?
He's going to need more money, so don't retire. But just
other than other fights falling through for whatever reason, I don't know. Perhaps we'll do some research into it. Going on, I know John Fury. Do you remember when he came out and said, Tommy Fury, my boy, there's shades of Triple G in him, I'm telling you. Fuck, you know, that age like milk, didn't it? I'll tell you, he did it.
Tommy Fury's not even the new Tommy Fury, mate.
Yeah. Cacace's got, I'll tell you what. There's in another one of my questions anyway, but the only thing I think is a confidence thing for him, and he gets confused about whether he wants to box or not. But for me, he's definitely got shades of Canelo or in his prime and Triple G. Like, he's heavy-handed for super featherweight. He spoke, I think it was after the Warrington fight, or one of those. He spoke about being, he wanted to sort of show his boxing acumen a bit more, and he wanted to show he's not one-dimensional. Thing is, Chris, to me, what I see in there from him, his last few fights, He's clearly heavy-handed. He's clearly durable. He's in a division where there ain't any great punches. I mean, nobody can punch up any under middleweight anyway, to be honest with you. And then other than sort of Jesse Bam, Rodriguez, and Nue, right?
Yeah.
Two big examples. Generally, though, you know, you're going to get people with 25% KO ratios, give or take 30% if you're lucky, right? Why doesn't Cacace forget all this sweet sight, forget all this why this guy's got the ability just to go, I'm coming right for, there's nothing any of you guys in this division can do to me. None of you can hurt me. Even if I had my chin in the air, which we'd never advocate, I'm coming straight forward, fill you out the first round. I'm coming straight forward, backing myself, Triple G style. I know there's nothing you can do and I'm going to work. Why don't he do that? Why does he want to faff about? He still did it against Wood, faffing about, and then he stuck it on him. Wood couldn't live with him.
That's it. To be fair, I did like the jab from him. I thought that jab was tremendous because Wood's jab was pathetic. It was a push out jab. He was just pushing it out, weren't he? It was like that.
Yeah.
Cacace's jab was stepping into it, Kronk style jab, stepping into it stiff, right, punching through the guard, and I loved his timing. His timing was awesome. Like he was taking because he had the longer arms. When Wood was jabbing, he was taking that little step back and then coming back with his own jab. And one thing that he did, I don't know if anyone noticed it, he did a bit of a Sugar Ray Leonard. So I can't remember what round it was. So he did like a weird like bolo hook. It wasn't like full on Leonard shit, but he went like this. And Lee Wood fell for it, and then he fucking whacked him with the left hook clean right on the jaw.
Like, and he's a switcher as well, isn't he? He's a switcher. Look, I know what you're saying. He's got skills. He can mix it up. But I always worry, and the Anthony Yard effect, I call it, with all these Mayweather effect, Yard effect. If I was his trainer, and I'll get to this in the debate, I was looking at the belt holder, so you'll see why I'm kind of mentioning this. If I was him, right, he's going to be 37 soon. He's probably got 3-4 years left. Clear out that division. Come forward and just take these guys out. Don't worry about all this, this pouncing around, like why? That was just my question, really. Like, why doesn't he just do that? And I guess the answer is because he wants to show his other skills. I guess that's the answer.
And to be fair, because he knew he was inactive, he wanted to make Lee Wood work a bit harder. You know what I mean? Because he was doing all these like weird. He was feinting, lateral movement.
He respected him, didn't he? He respected Lee Wood.
Lee Wood was falling for like the hand feints. I don't know what I call them. You know where he's going like moving his hands. Like he did really well. And I just think, what's next? What's next for him?
Well, that comes on to just a little comment here that he is most definitely. I think someone needs to give his strength and conditioning coach and whatever he's been doing fitness wise, because I don't know if it's a confidence thing with Cacace. You look at his early career to now, you get fighters like this sometimes that they seem to have come into their own later in life, and it's unbelievable actually. Chisora to a certain degree.
He's had 2 Indian summers, mate. He's had 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'll chuck this one in there. I mean, in this division, right? And I was looking at the belt holder. So the Ring magazine is vacant. You've got Cacace at number 3, Lamont Roach at number 4. I doubt Lamont Roach will stick around lightweight. I think he did that for the chance to fight Tank and the big payday. You got Raymond Ford at number 10. That's the Ring magazine. Navarrette's the WBO champ who had a very controversial win because of a headbutt. I don't know if you saw that. It was all a bit controversial. Bit of brown paper bags being from Bob Aaron being floated around, mate, going on. I won't say any more than that. The IBF obviously vacated. You've got Oshiki Foster.
Sheik. I thought it was
Shaquille. Sheik Foster. I'll be honest, Chris, I don't know a great deal about it. He's 23-3. Lamont Roach is the WBA. Mate, who in that division would scare if you're Cacace, right, and you're full of I'll be giving him all the confidence in the world, right? Because I think that's the only thing he seems to lack. For some reason, even Warrington, he could have stopped, sort of didn't step on the gap. Who in that division, let's be outside of Lamont Roach, he's got to potentially unify, be undisputed at super feather while he's still got the chance and he's not too old. Chris Shorten, and he.
If I think like they're all saying they want him to take on that Shaquille or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
Because that out of all the champions, he's the weakest. Yeah. Lamont Roach Jr.
Boxer, yeah.
He's very, very good. And,
very good.
So, and I think he probably might want to move up. If I was him, I would go for the WBC. Obviously, there's something I don't know much about the IBF champ. I'm going to be honest, but there was a reason.
That's vacant at the moment.
Yeah, he vacated it though, but I know why he did it, because why is he going to do, like, they would have had to do purse bids. He might have lost the purse bid and all that shit, and then had to fight in America. So why not take a fight in the UK that you can definitely win, look good, earn a load of cash, and then move on to... See, he was smart. He took an easier fight than fighting his mandatory, but still tough enough to test him before he goes on for something better, because he's had a year out. You see that? His manager, very, very good. And now he can go back to the world title. Very, very good.
I rate him. He's sort of, because I didn't know too much about him, before the before the Warrington fight. I ditn't know a great deal about him, and he really seems to have got some sort of second wind, and his stamina's good, chin looks good. It's a switcher. He can be silky when he wants to, clearly heavy-handed, very naturally big super featherweight, wiry, good jab, like you say. I'll tell you, chuck a little one in there. He's going to be too small, but it's just a little fun. This is a potential fun fight. What about Nick Ball coming up from featherweight to super feather? Have a bit of a domestic dust up with. That'll be a bit. I had to mention it because it's a big name.
Can
you imagine that?
That'd be like Mighty Mouse Superman.
I'd like to see it, because I just think it'll be entertaining.
No, I tell you, this is a curveball, and everyone out here, I don't care. Call me crazy. I said it before after he beat. Was it Warrington? Who did he beat last? Cacace to win the IBF belt.
No, he beat Joe Cordina.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm not saying he'd definitely win, but I think he's got a very, very good chance with his skill set and his reach. Tank. If Tank don't take that Lamont Jr. rematch, I think.
What a statement!
I do think, because he showed us some good boxing skills there, and Tank don't like boxers. So
I'm doing that as a talk, Chris, just so you know.
Yeah. If he boxes Tank for a bit, and then when Tank gets close, he can swing it out with, because Lamont Roach showed the blueprint, because he swung it out with Tank in the pocket sometimes. He didn't like it. It was a draw. Do you know what I mean? Confidence is low. Everyone's slagging him off, saying he's shit. He's wasted his best years fighting tomato cans. He's coming to the end of his career. I think I would love it. It's never going to get made, but I think Cacace can beat Tank. I'm not saying it's a 50-50 fight. I believe that. I don't care what Tank...
Tank's done nothing you to say that.
To me, that he's a legendary great fighter. Nothing.
I'll tell you what, I understand why you're chucking that out. I suppose from obviously moving up to lightweight to do it, but Cacace is more than big enough to be able to do that.
He's a massive
and the thing is that, there's only 5 at those weights. There's only 5. It's not as big a deal as people make out. I mean, 5-7 pounds, from sort of, as you move up those smaller divisions. But he's got the frame to be able to do that, no problem. Look, I do think that this current version of Tank, I think you're right, but the Tank side of it wouldn't. I don't think he'd come to the UK, and it probably wouldn't make, because Cacace is not a worldwide name, so it wouldn't happen. But
he's Irish. He's Irish. If they do it in New York, do you know how many Irish people come out for Katie Taylor and Katie Taylor in New York? Loads. Get all the Irish Americans there supporting him.
The other thing to mention, Chris, is that because he's obviously getting on a bit now, Cacace. But if he moved up to lightweight, that's a stacked division. But I think there's obviously very, very close fights there. I think he should try and become undisputed at super feather. I mean, that would be fantastic. Irish lad, British undisputed champion at super feather. But obviously, if he wants to go up to lightweight, there's mega money fights. So it depends. If he wants the money, go up to lightweight. If he wants legacy, stay where he's at, basically. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I think because he'll have to collect, because he just give one belt away. So he's going to have to, but he can get the WBC easily. He can clean up and become undisputed, probably by the time
become the Ring Magazine champ. Definitely.
Yeah. Ring Magazine is undisputed to me, really, to be honest. Whoever has that belt, they're the top dog.
And that's vacant. That's vacant at the moment, Chris. The Ring Magazine at Super Feather's vacant because there ain't that division at Super Feather is a bit like, at middleweight, it's really open, isn't it? The middleweight's open, the belts are scattered. There's anyone, Denzel Bentley, outside of Janabek. Janabek's the real dominant force in that division. Lamont Roach is the only one. Like a praying mantis, isn't he? Lamont Roach is the only one. I think Cacace. I mean, I was looking at it today, right? I was looking at Super, and I thought, "Fuck me, this is open season. This division, man, open season, mate.
Though, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So no more questions. But anything you want to?
Just want to reiterate. I really just fancy Cacace to beat Tank. I really do. I think he's got enough boxing skills and enough cojones, balls to stand and trade with him and not be scared to beat Tank, especially now. So, that's my final thought. Like and subscribe, guys.
To see it.
Like and subscribe.
Leave a comment.
Boxing Bros UK. I'm one of them. Be one of them yourself.